Coming up on the next episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
You're now listening to Zuzu All Grown Up.
She's been featured in more than 20 films from the early days of film and television.
He is a psychotherapist and her loving husband.
Together, they are on a mission to brighten your day and your life.
It's a time to smile, a time to laugh, a time to expect more.
It's time to get inspired with your hosts, Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Chris Brunel.
It's time to meet Zuzu, all grown up.
As Christmas envelops us in its warmth and wonder, we invite you to dive into the spirit of the season with our special episodes of Zuzu All Grown Up. Whether you've been eagerly awaiting this time of year and feel ready to embrace all its majesty and grandeur, or if you need a little help to embrace the joy surrounding you, our episodes are crafted to ignite the spirit of Christmas in your heart. We aim to make this Christmas truly transformative, much like George Bailey's in It's a Wonderful Life, ensuring your Christmas story unfolds miraculously this season. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all of us at Zuzu, All Grown Up.
Today's episode is really very special for me because I am also a guest. Today, my fellow actors from the Seneca Community Players join the show to talk with Karolyn and Chris about what it's like to portray the Baileys, Mr. Potter, and the rest of the townspeople of Bedford Falls in our annual production of Merry Christmas, George Bailey. That's coming up on Zuzu All Grown Up.
Get ready for Christmas miracles.
Get ready for Zuzu All Grown Up.
Well, we are here with Karolyn and Chris. It's really an honor for us to get to talk to you today, Karolyn, about portraying the characters from your movie, It's a Wonderful Life. There is so much we want to talk with you about, and we're all very excited to be here with little Zuzu. Speaking of that, this is Zuzu, All Grown Up. Let's start, shall we?
Thanks, Seth, for that introduction. We've got a great show planned for you today.
Indeed. Let's get started.
Well, then you could swallow it, see, and it'd dissolve like aspirin, you know? And the moonbeams would shoot out of your fingers and the ends of your hair, and you think I'm talking too much?
Yes, why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
Now, how's that?
No, youth is wasted on the wrong people.
Hey, just a minute there, mister. Now, hey, you come on back here. I'll show you some kissing that'll...
George!
Hey, Uncle Billy, look here. I'm going to kiss Mary. Watch.
George, get in the car, quick. Your father's had a stroke.
What?
George, hurry.
Well, George's father died that night, Clarence. So, of course, George couldn't go to Europe. But that fall, just as he was ready to leave for college, the directors of the building and loan had a meeting. They were going to appoint a successor to Mr. Bailey.
A successor to our dear friend Peter Bailey. What was that you said, Mr. Potter?
I said, as long as Peter Bailey's dead, let's dissolve the building and loan. We don't need it.
Now, wait a minute.
No, you wait a minute. Peter Bailey was not a businessman. Ideas without common sense can ruin a town. What do we get? A discontented, lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class.
Now, hold on, Mr. Potter.
Oh, I meant no disrespect, George. However...
Now, wait a minute here. Now, why my father ever started this cheap penny ante building and loan, I'll never know. But just remember this, Mr. Potter, that this rabble you're talking about, well, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Well, anyway, my father didn't think so. People are human beings to him, but to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. Well, in my book, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested in your book, George. I'm talking about the building and loan.
You're talking about something you can't get your fingers on, and it's galling. That's what you're talking about. Well, this town needs this measly one-horse institution. If only it has some place where people can borrow a few dollars without crawling to you. Now, come on, Uncle Billy.
What happened, George?
Yeah, all we heard was a lot of yelling.
Well, yeah, they're in there voting us out of business.
Oh, who cares? I can get another job. I'm only 41.
45. Will you get out of here, George? You missed your boat trip. You want to miss college too?
George, they just voted Potter down. We're still in business.
Whoopee! We're still in business. We're still in business.
But there's the one condition, George. They've appointed you to take your father's place.
Appoint me, but I'm going to college. Look, this is my last chance. Uncle Billy, he's your man.
George, you've got to take it. They'll vote with Potter otherwise. They said so.
I even know George Bailey didn't go to college. That's right, Clarence. He gave his college money to Harry. Harry went instead. Yeah, but what about that good-looking girl, Mary? Oh, George saw her from now and then. Not very often, though, because Mary went away to school, too. Anyway, George waited 4 more years for Harry to come back and take over the building and loan. He could still see the world. He planned to work in the oil fields, Venezuela. Except when Harry came home, he wasn't alone. There was a girl with him, his wife. Well, my name's Seth Kennedy. I've been doing the show for 14 or 15 years now. Started out as just one of the voice actors, ended up doing Mr. Potter's voice for a while, and was Mr. Potter on the street as one of the street characters during the festival. And I took over about 6 years ago as the director for the radio show that we do. And we do it every year during the festival as sort of a gift from our organization, which is the Seneca Community Players, gift back to the community. So it's a lot of fun. We see some of the same faces every year and actually get to meet some new faces. So I've been doing it. I'm not the longest. I've been doing it about 14 years. And then, Gary, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm the new guy. I've only done it 3 years. As Seth said, sometimes new faces, sometimes old new faces, but I truly enjoy doing it. What attracted me to it was first my love of the movie. The story is such a tremendous story, but also my fascination with old time radio. And I had hoped to participate for years and years, but my work schedule, I traveled all over the country, wouldn't allow me to do that. And so once I stopped traveling, I was able to do it. And I truly enjoy it. Met a bunch of nice folks, both in the cast and as people that come to see the show. We get a lot of feedback from the people that watch the show, and that's very, very rewarding. I love that so much.
Eric, do you want to introduce yourself?
So I'm Eric Jansen, and this will be the 20th year done this show, and I've had the privilege of voicing George Bailey over the last several, but I've done Joseph, and I've done Clarence, and I've done the announcers and various other voiceover parts, and I've enjoyed a great deal. And it's always about the way to kick off my season, and it's become kind of a staple in my household. So while I've done it, I've had several of my children do the show as well, and it's become a family piece that I very much enjoy doing, and I look forward to doing it again this year and for many years to come.
Stu, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Stuart Sewell, and this will be my 10th year. I've done Potter and Nick the bartender, which in a way is a salute to my father, because one of his favorite characters, Sheldon Leonard, who was the character actor who did Nick. My father, one of his favorite lines from the movie was always, "That does it, you two pixies, out of here." And I just love to say that every year, just in thinking of my dad and how much I meant. And one quick story that Eric will probably back me up on. It was my 2nd or 3rd year, and I wondered how well we were reaching the audience and playing Potter to the marvelous job that he does with George. We were going back and forth in that terrible scene where Potter is cutting down George Bailey. He knows he's got the $8,000 and he has him on the brink. And I look out and I see 2 women in the back of the audience, and one woman had her eyes closed. And I thought, oh boy, here we are really trying to bring as much integrity as we can. And this woman's falling asleep. Well, she found us at the end of the show, grabbed both our arms and said, "You know, that was so fantastic. I closed my eyes and I thought I was listening to the movie." Wow, did I get that one wrong?
Jason, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Jason Hurdle. I've done this for the past seven years or so, intermittent back and forth, like everyone else in the cast and everyone else on this podcast. I do it because not only the camaraderie between us as cast members, but the camaraderie with the community and the people that come to see it. It brings people from all over the world to come see this, and you would not believe it when you talk to them, the feelings of warmth and love and joy that they bring that we have actually placed into their lives, and they really express that to us. So it's been a great, it's a great deal. Like I said, I've walked away a couple times, but I've always come back, and I've done numerous roles in the show, and I just can't get enough of it. So.
And Pete, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Pete Saracino. This will be my 23rd year in it. Every year, Clarence, except I think one year I was Potter, and Becky Bly produced it or directed it. And I echo all the things everybody said. I was born and raised in Seneca Falls, so it's really helps me feel part of my hometown celebration of Christmas. And it's a wonderful way to kick off the Christmas season. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful story. Way back in my college days back in 19, never mind. But it was on once a Christmas on WPIX out of New York City. And if you missed it, you missed it for the whole season. But then it would be on Christmas night, maybe about 10 or 11 o'clock, they'd show it one more time. And I'd leave all my buddies at the bar and go home and watch it one more time. Of course, now it's syndicated. You could watch it a million times, but it's just a wonderful, wonderful heartwarming story. And the thing I love the most about it is its message that every man is worth something. Every man has dignity. Never more needed in today's world.
Amen to that.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
To follow up on one of the things that Jason and Eric both shared is that we have met people doing this from all over our country, many of the different states, if not probably all of the states at this point, and different countries. People come from all over to the festival. We've been involved with engagements. We've coordinated a chance for a surprise engagement for a young lady and her future fiance. We've been involved in a wedding on the bridge where they wanted us to stand in the wedding, not the wedding party, but in the background, be present. We've had people come. One year we had a bunch of ladies come that had T-shirts that said the Potterettes, and they were all from up in Buffalo. And the husbands were hysterical because their wives had these Potterette shirts and wanted pictures taken with the street character, Mr. Potter. I was playing him that year. We had so much fun, just enjoying the magic with the people that come because they love this movie so much. And not surprising, they're such fans that they try to trick us up by asking us trivia questions. So we have to be on our game too. We have to know. They'll come up to, Mr. Potter and say, where's your raven? Where's your bird? And I'll say, oh, no, that's Uncle Billy's bird. Uncle Billy's got the bird, and he needs to keep that pesky bird away from me, or something similar to that, in character, because they'll try to ask us, what's the house number, or, where's
number. How many times have we been corrected in the house number? Because radio
gosh.
play is different than the movie.
Yeah, the radio play has one number, and in the movie they quoted the other one, and people will let us know that,
That's
for sure, they know the movie up, down, and backwards. Even during COVID first year of COVID, we didn't want to let this go by without a chance to do Merry Christmas, George Bailey, the radio play. So we did it Zoom style and sent it as a Christmas card to a lot of our fans and put it up on our website so that people could enjoy it, even though they were all locked down at the time in their homes. So it really is a great way to start the season for me. My birthday is always the same weekend as the festival. So I always celebrate my birthday with the cast, which is a great way to celebrate a birthday. So this year I'll be 29, and so we'll be enjoying my 29th birthday.
I don't know how that's possible because my birthday's on Christmas a couple of weeks later, and I'll be 30.
That's true. That's true. So we just, and Stu's is the 1st of December, I
First
believe.
December. We're all December birthdays.
Yeah. So it's fun to get together. It's fun to see each other every year, the camaraderie and the joy that we bring to each other, as well as the audiences. It's just a great time.
Well, I just figured out how come I'm the oldest guy in the cast, and that's because I was born in September, so I'm 3 or 4 months older than all you guys.
Yeah, you'll be 31 this year, right,
I'll be
Gary?
31.
Yeah.
Seth, do you remember the one night there was a bar restaurant right across the street from where we used to rehearse, and it's still there. It's called Parker's, and we'd go there after rehearsal, just have something to eat, maybe catch a beer or something like that. And one night after rehearsal, this was a few seasons ago, we went in and the place was empty except for the actors. There was a handful of us. And we're sitting there talking. We usually talk about the show. And in walked all of the real life characters from the show who had come to Seneca Falls for that weekend. And the only people in the entire place were the actors and the actors. The actors from the radio version and the actors from the movie, the real people. And we got to go sit and talk with them and have them all to ourselves. Do you remember that, Seth?
Yeah, they were so kind and visited and shared stories from their experiences, and we shared stories from ours. And there were only probably, the 15 people that were involved, the real life actors themselves and the radio cast. And it was just a wonderful, it must have been, I think it was probably for the 70th anniversary.
Yeah.
It was just before that.
Yeah. I always thought it was kind of like a little magical reward for having done it. We got to sit with them and have them all to ourselves. That was really special.
Probably interrupted their dinner.
Yes. It was nice. It was almost, if I remember, we got to ask them questions. It's almost like sitting with the Beatles and asking them, how was it to be on Ed Sullivan, and how was it to be in A Hard Day's Night? And it's really cool.
The other really amazing part of the show is that it has become a family affair. Eric said that he's done the show with some of his family members. I have triplets that are in the show every year, either as a Foley artist, they do the sound effects, or they'll do the children's voices, or they're street characters on the street. So we are very lucky that it has become a family affair for us to do together as a family.
It's a lot of fun to look at those old pictures, right? I've got a picture of my son Michael, who was in this production a number of years, and he's now 29 and has a family of his own. And look back, and he was 12. What a great feeling and sense.
That's true of me too. My children are in their 30s now, and I have pictures of them when they were little with Zuzu, and my wife was even in it one year. So it is a family affair.
Zuzu's listening to you.
I know. Hi, Karolyn.
Hello.
You
guys did a great job.
Oh, good. I don't even think we've talked about the crazy race through town with all the people dressed really, really, really weird, which is so special. I remember I asked somebody, you're going to be in the race this year, the 5K, I think it is. And they said, yeah, I'm going to bring my friend, but he doesn't want to dress up. And I said, be sure and tell him that if he doesn't dress up, he'll be the only odd person in the race.
Right.
Because some of the costumes are
string of
hilarious.
lights hanging off of you or something.
Oh, I know. And as they run around town, people are on the porch and they're playing music and offering them drinks and singing Christmas carols. It's a real happening. It really, really is.
Oh, yeah. I remember the first time you took me out, Pete, I needed to get a coffee, and we were down at 115, and we came up and went down the street like that, and they were starting the race. He said, oh, you don't know about this? Because it was my first time. And like you said, people dressed like reindeer, people with ugly sweater contests going on to see who had the ugliest sweater, people with lights all around and adorned them. I mean, you can't believe they put lights on that many lights. It was an incredible experience.
Right. Another thing, too, is way back when I was first on Black and White, and I was a young boy watching, and growing up in Seneca Falls, I actually said, very naively, I said, there's a lot of similarities between Seneca Falls and this show. Of course, they talk about Elmira, and I think Rochester and Buffalo. So it was very, very interesting. And then, of course, the whole thing evolved into Seneca Falls being the place. And, of course, the Tommy Bellissima story, who was a local barber who I knew Tommy. Tommy was my barber. Back then, he was the type of barber where you actually had to get an appointment. He had a small thing. He'd work at night because I think he worked at the Army depot during the day. And he was an Italian immigrant who spoke broken English, played the guitar, very nice man. Went to high school with his daughter. And he's not the type of person who would lie. He was the type of person who would know the exact story he told about Frank Capra coming into his shop to get a haircut. And he said, I know what Capra means in Italian. It means goat. And I'm sure they talked in Italian. Just Tommy would tell the story. And then, of course, the rest is history, you know.
They were both from Sicily.
I remember one year, you know, the very first year Donna Reed's daughter came to the festival. I said to myself, I would love to see her, but there's no way in heck I'm going to ever run into her. You know, I don't even know what she looks like. So we all took the street and dutifully began to talk to the people we encountered. And this woman just innocently walks out of this building. I approach her and I encounter her and we got talking. And it was Donna Reed's daughter. And I said, oh my God, what's the chances of that? And I got a chance to tell her how much I admired her mother and how much I had a crush on her mother when I was a little boy. And I'd watch the Donna Reed show. And it was really a nice moment.
The only one that had that crush, Pete.
Oh, I know, Gary. Oh, she was so beautiful, but so kind. And
well, you know, it's funny, Pete, you mentioned the references to Elmira and Buffalo and that kind of thing in the movie. And when I first remember watching it as a youngster myself, of course, I'm a lot younger than you are, Pete. I remember watching it, and that's what attracted me to it more than the story itself. I think at first was the references to areas that I knew, and it's like they're talking about here. And then once I really paid attention to the storyline, then of course, then it all made sense. But that's what I really focused on the first few times I saw it. It was kind of like the family joke is, you know, I know you're going to be watching that movie, and I watch it, like you said, syndicated. You can see it all the time, and I watch it over and over again, or even just see parts of it as I'm flipping through channels, and I'll stay with it for a half an hour or so and see a part. But that's, I think, what attracted me at first was the references to the local area.
Right. I think I'm in the same place.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
Start your morning right with premium coffee roasts available at ZuzuNetwork.com and drink them in your Zuzu All Grown Up coffee mug. Also perfect for tea and hot chocolate.
Stay inspired throughout the day with the same gratitude journal used by Karolyn and Chris, and check out t-shirts, hats, books, Christmas keepsakes, and more at ZuzuNetwork.com/shop.
Once we start to truly get in the Christmas spirit, it's over. We've anticipated the birth of the Christmas child and the moment he is born. The reason for celebrating seems to have also. Never mind that traditionally Christmas is a celebration that starts on Christmas Day and lasts for 12 days. By the time the wise men make it to the manger on Epiphany, we're likely back to a life as usual mindset. What happened to Scrooge after his Christmas Epiphany? Was it all over by Boxing Day? Dickens tells us he kept it as best he could throughout the year. If you love something, you are anxious to see it go. This year, hold on to Christmas a little bit longer until one day you discover that it's truly become a part of you. This has been a message from the Christmas Keepers.
Are you wondering whether to sell or donate the car you no longer need or want? Consider that. Donating it to a legitimate, legally recognized nonprofit organization, not only will you receive a tax deduction, but you'll be contributing to a worthy cause. Finding a worthy nonprofit organization can be time-consuming and even a bit stressful. I'm here to present to you one of the most amazing, legitimate 501c3 nonprofit organizations in the world. The United Breast Cancer Foundation, the UBCF, provides screenings, treatments, aftercare services, educational materials, as well as patient and family assistance. We ask that you help in that mission by donating your unwanted or unused vehicle to the UBCF. Simply call 888-842-5505. The process is fast and easy. Call 888-842-5505. 888-842-5505. Help us in our mission and get a tax deduction. Call 888-842-5505. Thank you for your support.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and don't have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you don't pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call if you've been injured in an auto accident. Call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766.
Auto Accident Help Desk.
Join Zuzu's network today at zuzunetwork.com/join.
Karolyn is creating an international network of aspiring angels, everyday people who believe that they can help make the world a better place by making life better for even just one other person.
Let us know you want to earn your wings at zuzunetwork.com/join, and Karolyn and Chris will send you inspirational material to support you in your journey.
May all your days be merry and bright.
And may the light of Christmas brighten your life this holiday season. You're listening to Zuzu, all grown up.
Gary, because I remember the very first time I saw the movie, I lived in Oklahoma at the time. And I'm like, Rochester? Well, that's my area. Elmira, what do you mean? Buffalo? I know all these places. I've been to these places. And it was almost kind of like it's a blast from the past. And then when I moved back to the area and I had the opportunity to do this, I went, are you kidding? I didn't have any idea when I was asked to come out and read a part for Jim McNeil. And it was next to the last year that Jim did this, and Jim having passed away shortly after one of our productions. And since then, it's just kind of cemented it for me. And it's always been that piece now in the last 20 years.
Yeah. I accumulated the books about it through the years as I participated in it. In one of the books, they tell about the fact that when Harry went away to college, in the original script, it was Cornell.
Oh, no.
So named. But what happened was they were having a heck of a time getting permission to use the official thing, and they finally gave up on it and said, we're just going to say he went away to college. But in the original script, it's Cornell University, which is, I don't know, Karolyn, if you know, it's in Ithaca, New York, which is about, I don't know, give or take 40 some odd miles south of Seneca Falls, right?
We've had so many people come up to us and tell us what the movie means. And I can only imagine, Karolyn, that's a small number for us compared to what you get every time you're out in public. Do you have people just come up and sometimes it's almost like a confessional? They come up and tell you what it means to them and when they watch it and how they watched it and all kinds of things. Do you find that also, I'm sure?
All the time. I mean, for years, I've been on the road for 30 years or more, 35 maybe. And my heart dings every time I hear someone tell me another story about how this movie has affected their life. I think one guy in particular told me that his wife had cancer and they knew she was going to die. She was in the hospital. And every day they watched It's a Wonderful Life for 15 days in a row. And then she died. And he said at the funeral, he bought bells. And he gave everybody a bell when they walked in. And at the end of the whatever service they were having, everybody rang a bell.
Nice.
It's touched so many lives, and the people that share their stories with me are sometimes life-threatening, and sometimes they're the sweetest, dearest things that you can ever imagine. I just think that this movie has made an imprint on our society, probably more than any other movie in the history of movie making. It's made such a difference.
You know, Carolyn, I've said this for a lot of years. It hit me one Christmas that this is America's version of A Christmas Carol. You know, Dickens' Christmas Carol is a famous movie, of course, and it's just indelibly etched into the hearts and minds of people around the world. And this is America's version of that. It's our Christmas Carol. It's just a really beautiful, beautiful story. And not for nothing, Carol, I got to tell you, and I tell this to my wife every year when we watch it, and I'm going to swear here now, even when we watch The Bishop's Wife, you were such a precious, 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 precious little girl in those. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Even, and I guess this is off script and swearing again, but even in The Bishop's Wife, when you say something to the effect of, is Dudley leaving and he's not going to say goodbye, I just go, "Wah!" Yes, yeah. But getting back to the real meat here, It's a Wonderful Life. You just were really wonderful, wonderful actress.
Handpicked each one of us to be in that movie. So he knew what he was doing, I guess. But I can't help but think there was a little divine interference in there. Had to be.
Yeah.
It was a perfect cast. Absolutely perfect.
Pete and I always loved the crossover about The Bishop's Wife, where the captain of the snowball team is Bobby Anderson that played young George Bailey, and he picks you to be after he gets hit in the face with the snowball. So there's a little continuity there.
Right.
And you know what? When the boys' choir is singing and Dudley comes into the building, the church, to hear this, the lady playing the organ is Mary Hatch's mother.
Wow. Wow.
Watch that.
Aha, I never knew that. That's cool.
No,
that's
I didn't
great.
either.
Yeah, geez.
Add that to your trivia collection, Pete.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And another thing about the movie, I think a person that doesn't get a lot of credit, I think without Mary Hatch, there is no George Bailey.
Yes.
Literally, figuratively, metaphorically, and literally. I mean, and I love the thing where, you know, the scene that happens with Gower in the drugstore. The angel, I think Clarence says to the angel, "Did he ever tell anyone?" And he says, "Not a soul." And I turn to my wife every year and say, and Mary Hatch heard that whole thing and never told a soul either. And there's one, you know, there's all these little subtle things you pick up every year after year that you didn't pick up the year before. And one of the most beautiful moments in the movie for me is after it's all happened and George comes home and he doesn't know they've collected the money, and Mary comes in and Mary says, "Shh, I hear them coming." And that's just a moment for me where George doesn't know and the whole town is coming forward, and it's all because of Mary. He's a lucky man he had her, you know?
This show is definitely something that you don't need to force conversations about. You don't need to drag people's information out. I play Mr. Potter on the street during the street characters, and I can be a little grumpy with people that on any other day of the year might be seen as a little rude, and they giggle and love it because it's Mr. Potter saying something. For instance, Pete said there's so many people dressed up in bright colors for the race. We've got the It's Wonderful Run, which is a 5K sanctioned run at twilight during the festival. And I'll say to folks, I'm like, apparently you must have got dressed with the lights out this morning because nothing matches. And if I did that any other day of the year, people would be offended. And they just giggle and want a picture or give me a hug. And it's just, everyone is there for the right reasons, I guess is the best way to say it. Everybody, and I do a lot of different things, as we all do. Street characters, we do the radio play. I read the short story that the movie is based on. Some people have never heard the short story, so I read it. And I'm a school teacher, so I love reading to an audience. So I'm lucky enough that every day during the festival, I get to read the short story that it's based on to a group of people for free. And every year, someone cries, someone gasps at the parts of the story that we all know perhaps and have seen 100 times, but every year it affects people again. And that's just an amazing thing.
And I like to take and adopt things that were in the movie to the radio play. So like at the very, very end, when George is saying, "Attaboy, Clarence," there's the wink of, "Hey, this is what happened," right? I thank you very much. I try to incorporate that in the radio play, and I know that we've done our job, so to speak, because inevitably, just about the time I do that wink and I say, "Attaboy, Clarence, attaboy," the tears in the audience just start flowing. And it's just like, we've touched, to be able to be a part of something that touches people in that way. It's just so rewarding to me as an actor, and really it transcends acting in so many ways, because you heard how many of us have done this for a lot of years, and it's that sort of interaction that you get to be a part of something special for folks, because they walk away talking about that kind of stuff.
The radio play that we do is based off of the Lux Theater radio play that was originally broadcast. And Stuart one day walked into a rehearsal and handed me a box of Lux powdered laundry soap that he had found at a yard sale, I believe. And we have an original bar of Lux beauty soap. And I have the original. Did you
bring the spray can?
Spray can too, we found.
Oh, yeah, the spray can. And I have a recipe book that I found at Antique Shop that's recipes for spry cooking fat.
My wife found that too. I got the picture. I sent it to you.
I've got one also. Yep.
Yeah, I gave it to you a couple of years ago.
So yeah, we've got all of these collections of different items that go with the story. And when we do the radio play, we have an organist that does the organ parts, so it sounds like you're listening to the radio program. We have Foley artists that do the sound effects for doors opening and closing, and people walking, and footsteps, and crickets when they're singing Buffalo Gals. There's crickets in the background that we do. We break glass every show. Yep. So it's just, we try to make it as close to the radio program as we could, incorporating things from the movie. And I think our enjoyment must show through, because we have people that come back year after year, and new faces, old faces, family members. This past year, we had someone come in who, a similar story to Karolyn, said that she probably wasn't going to be able to come back to the festival again, that she had been diagnosed with something and she didn't share, but she brought her entire family to the festival as one last family event, her children and her grandchildren and all of everyone. And they came to our radio show and were just amazed at the radio show and amazed at meeting. She mentioned that she got to meet you, Karolyn, and amazed at meeting some of the other live, the characters from the movie itself. It was just a heartfelt thank you. We got an email about a week after the festival explaining, and it was just wonderful.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
To find out more about the organization featured in today's episode or a previous episode, and to learn more about how you can help, go to zuzunetwork.com/beanangel.
Smokey the Bear.
Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com, and remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is an important announcement for anyone who wants health insurance, even if you missed the deadline. Right now, you can get the health insurance you and your family need from top insurance providers, even if you have pre-existing conditions or no insurance at all. The Plus Benefits Health Insurance toll-free number has been extended to help anyone who wants health insurance coverage now, or if you need a better plan or a lower price. Call Plus Benefits Health Insurance now at 800-332-1993. The call is 100% free and the help is real. Call 800-332-1993. That's 800-332-1993.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-288-7088. 888-288-7088. Sponsored by GP Agency Inc., Raleigh, NC. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult your financial professional before making an investment decision.
1 out of 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. And the chances are you know at least one person who's been personally affected. But right now, you can help. It's simple. Donate your unwanted vehicle, RV, or trailer to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. It's the easiest way to contribute to one of the nation's leading charitable organizations. The process is fast, easy, and free. Not only will you be helping, but you'll also receive a tax deduction. The United Breast Cancer Foundation offers an array of programs and services that help and support families and individuals dealing with breast cancer. But we can't do it alone. We need your help. Simply give us a call to get started, and we'll schedule a pickup date that is convenient for you. If you have any questions you would like answered before initiating the donation process, please feel free to call us toll-free at 800-324-6218. That's 800-324-6218. 800-324-6218.
Zuzu's book club features recommendations from Zuzu herself on books she loves and thinks you will love also. All of the books that the club reads, fiction and nonfiction, are inspirational and uplifting. Folks, this is a life-enhancing club to be part of. You can sign up for free at zuzunetwork.com/book club. That's zuzunetwork.com/book club.
Wishing you a Merry Christmas and the happiest New Year.
You're listening to Zuzu All Grown Up.
You know, that reminds me of, I know this is certainly true for me, I suspect for a lot of you, but I'm sure for a lot of people who come, in this day and age when Christmas can be so darn commercialized and you see Christmas in Walmart in, I don't know, late September, it's one of the few things, at least for me, and I suspect for a lot of people who come, that really make it feel like Christmas time. The show, the weekend, just really, the whole village and all the attendees are in the same spirit, and it's really a spirit of Christmas. It's very, very beautiful.
We have a inside joke with the cast that we don't consider it Christmas till we hear Eric sing Buffalo Girl when you come out tonight. Eric is not a trained singer, and it shows.
I am not a trained singer. That is a true statement. I think that people would probably pay
it's all
me
the
not.
more special because you aren't, Eric.
Once you get exposed to the feelings that you get from sharing this story, it's kind of hard not to think about doing it again the next year.
As the new guy, I've got to echo what everybody has said here. Once I was able to participate, my Christmas season really changed. And now I look forward to that, as Eric, I think you said that, to get you in the mood for Christmas, get you started. And that's the way I look at it now. It's like, oh, I can't wait. We're going to be getting together and we're going to do this again. And yeah, it becomes a thing. I know when I first showed up for an audition, I was nervous, and I hadn't done stage before. I mean, like Seth, I'm a teacher, so I'm used to being in front of an audience, but they don't usually get to vote. So it's like I have my job regardless. But I sat in the front row of this little storefront in Seneca Falls, and Seth said, "Gary, you want to read this part?" I forget now what I read, but I read a part, very nervous. And then he said, "Eric, you're gonna do George." And when Eric spoke, it was like Jimmy Stewart was sitting behind me, and I almost came out of my chair. And it's like, from that point on, I was hooked. It was like, wow, this is going to be so great. What I found out afterwards is if you show up, you get a part. So I didn't have anything to worry about. So that year, Jason, where were you that year? I did like 5 of your parts, man.
I know, but I
don't know where you were.
I wanted to give you that little opportunity so that when I came in and swept them all away from you, it didn't feel so bad. At least you had a chance to do them.
I did, but you did a lot better than I did. So it's one of those things. But yeah, it's just it's changed. It's changed how I feel about Christmas. And as I said before, I love the movie. But what attracted me was the fact that this was the radio program, because of my love for old time radio. And Seth has allowed me to a little bit of liberty there as well with our introduction and the commercials and that kind of thing that we do. And so that to me has been really wonderful as well. So thanks to all of you. I'm the old guy in the cast, but I hope to be here for a long, long time.
We hope so too. And the nice thing about the radio program is that you don't have to be exact. The timing, the cadence, the rhythm of the speaking, and then our audience's memory fills in all of the rest. And so you don't need to look like Mr. Potter, or you don't need to look like Ernie, the cab driver. All you need to do is enjoy it, and the audience's memory fills in the rest for you. So it's such a treat to be able to do that.
Well, gosh, thanks, guys, for joining us today on my show. And I really appreciate the fact that you give your hearts to this production every year. And I know you do. So thank you again for giving us a sample of what this wonderful show that you do and share with the visitors in Seneca Falls every year at Christmas.
I understand that the tickets sell out pretty quickly. So where can they get them before they get out there?
So we have a website, the Seneca Community Players.org, and there's a link right there. There also is a link at the festival website, and they can get tickets there. We perform every year at the Presbyterian Church, which is right downtown. And then for some of our friends who aren't available to come to the festival, we've started doing it an additional weekend at our home theater in Waterloo, New York, which is about 6 miles from Seneca Falls. So we do the radio play on our home stage also. This year it's the weekend before, because the festival is quite late in the month. It's maybe the 13th, 14th, and 15th or something this year. So it's a little later than normal, it seems. So we're doing some productions at our home theater, and then we do it at the Presbyterian Church. And we have some of the younger cast members that we have act as newsboys and newsgirls during the day, and they walk around and hand out flyers with ticket information as well as updates on times and everything to get the word out, so that we want as many people as can come to see it come and enjoy it.
Yes. Well, thank you again, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank
you
so much.
Good to see you. Good to see you both.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Do you know someone who is earning their wings? Someone practicing kindness and service to others? Perhaps an organization or initiative helping make the world we live in a kinder, sweeter place.
Or maybe you've witnessed the miraculous, the divine, the magnificent in some way in your life, and you'd like to share it with others. Go to zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory and let us know more.
You may end up being featured on an upcoming episode of Zuzu All Grown Up. That's zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory.
Thank you, Seth, and all the Seneca Talent Players.
What a talented group of individuals.
For those of you who haven't made the connection, Seth Kennedy is our illustrious announcer, that familiar voice that welcomes you and wishes you well almost each broadcast.
Thank you, Seth, for the special treat today. To all your fellow Seneca players, thank you, and thank you everyone for listening.
Now here's Seth Kennedy with today's parting thoughts.
Thank you, Karolyn and Chris. And we all had a lot of fun. Every year, the people of Seneca Falls transform into the townspeople of Bedford Falls. And it is both an honor and a sacred task that we take seriously while having a lot of fun. We invite you, dear listeners, to join us one of these Decembers when Seneca Falls becomes Bedford Falls. You can see our play, meet us on the streets during the It's a Wonderful Life Festival, where many of us will be in character, and most importantly, you can come be part of the movie that has touched our and your life. You'll feel the Christmas spirit as you walk back in time to 1940s Bedford Falls, and we'll be walking right by your side.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
We hope you've been inspired to live your most wonderful life now and to help those around you do the same.
Remember, no matter what you're going through, no matter who you are, there are people who care about you, and your life makes a difference.
It is a wonderful life.
Check out ZuzuNetwork.com for more on today's and other episodes, including transcripts and merchandise you won't want to be without.
New episodes are coming soon.
Keep listening to Zuzu All Grown Up throughout the holiday season for more uplifting content that will help connect you with the true meaning of the season.
That's all December long on Zuzu All Grown Up.
For transcripts of today's broadcast, go to ZuzuNetwork.com/transcripts. Zuzu All Grown Up with your hosts Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Chris Brunell.
Announcer and guide Seth Kennedy.
Executive producer Kevin R. Stillmock.
Coordinating producer Holly Ann Way.
Technical producer Stella Joel.
Managing producer Karina Filatova.
A Wonderful Land production.
In collaboration with Radio Wonderful.